The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me?
Good morning, fellow PlayStation believers. Welcome to episode 27 of the PlayStation Experience podcast, the Pebbles to PSVG Primes, Bam Bam, and Play Some Video Games premier PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Seth, and I'm joined, as always, by Justin. How's it going up in Michigan today, Justin? Other than the fact that you have to live in Michigan. So that,
Michigan's not great. Is that a Flintstones reference?
That is
Pebbles and Bam? Okay.
That is a Flintstones reference.
Okay. I appreciate that. I like that. I haven't watched or seen anything about Flintstones in a long time. Probably since the live action movies came out.
Ah, yes.
Which were
there multiple live action movies?
I feel like there were, because Hollywood's awful and likes to make two of bad things, but it had John Goodman, so couldn't have been that bad.
You know what was a good Flintstones episode? Was when it was did you ever see the Flintstones and the Jetsons?
No, I didn't. I know everyone always talks about that, how great it was, and I don't remember. I didn't watch Jetsons really much. I mean, I was kind of young for all of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I wish I would have seen that. What happened? Did the universe explode? Like, how did they meet anyways? How is that possible?
I don't remember. It's been a long time. Probably, yeah, I don't know.
Cartoon magic.
Cartoon magic, right? They belong to the same universe, the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe.
Okay.
HBCU. So anyway, PlayStation. Yeah.
What have I been playing?
What have you been playing on your PlayStation console?
I just more Call of Duty. Yeah. More Blackout mode. Unfortunately, for anyone that listens, they did add a new Blackout mode called Ambush, which is just knives and sniper rifles.
Okay.
But also the rings shrink faster. So that mode's pretty fun. It seems like they're gonna
still have to find the knives and sniper rifles, or do you just start with them? Okay.
Yep. Just basically, instead of there being machine guns and pistols and whatever else, it's just all the 3 or 4 different types of sniper rifles. So, which some of them are a little bit faster, so you can treat them kind of like, they're not going to be automatic or anything, but they're close. So,
okay.
But yeah, I still playing that, and I have been playing the Dreams beta a little bit. So, but I think we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Because I don't really want to talk about it too much right now. But I will say I'm still very excited.
Cool. Yeah, I've too have been doing the Dreams beta a bit, although I haven't now for a few days, and now of course it's over. But still plugging away at Red Dead 2 in the middle of Chapter 6 now, and pushing toward the end. I'm still mostly, I mean not mostly, I still am enjoying it. There is starting to be a little bit of a disconnect between some of the things that Arthur talks about in the cutscene, some of the things that he still is doing in the world, like talking about becoming a better man, but yet I'm still going and trying to shake someone down for some random debt. But and that's just going to happen in any open world game. So.
Yeah. Now, from what I had heard, I think that switches over at some. If you keep doing those debt collection missions, which I didn't finish those out. From what I've heard, at some point Arthur does make a switch where you're allowed to not collect the debt.
Okay.
Or give it back or something like
that. So with this one in particular, and this isn't, this is a debt collection side story spoiler for Chapter 6, but it's not a main thing. But this guy, you go up and he's there's a guy who is trying to fix his wagon. It's broken, and you come up to him and you say, "Hey, you owe me some money." and he, of course, he doesn't have the money, and he's bumbling, and he's on the run from the army, and he asks you for help, and of course Arthur just says, no, just give me the money. And then there are some people who come and try to shoot the guy, and so Arthur helps fight them off. And then after that's all done, the guy's wagon is burning, and then out from behind a rock comes a woman that that he's in love with. Couldn't tell if she was pregnant, but I think she's a Native American woman. And the guy tries to give Arthur a silver locket, and it does give you a choice of whether to accept it or not. And okay. I decided not to accept it, to just tell him to keep it and run off. So I guess that is good, because I have been generally a white hat throughout. Maybe I don't know if that impacts it or not. So I guess there is some nuance there. The other game, I've still been playing Horizon Chase Turbo on my Switch, but it is also on the PlayStation. So I was wrong in my thoughts a couple weeks ago about the endurance modes. The shortest endurance mode is I think it's 12 races, and then the medium one is 36 races, and I've beaten those two. The long endurance is 109 races.
Oh, that's just a short,
Well, they say it's an endurance race, so
yeah.
And you have to get 5th place in order to advance. If you don't get 5th place in a race, then you have to start all over. So I got to about 28 races in that one, and ran out of gas in a race, so then I had to start all over. So
okay,
but it's still fun. It's a good little arcade racer. The other game that I've meant to play over the past 2 weekends is Anthem. The beta has been live for people who pre-ordered it a week and a half ago, and then everybody this past weekend, and I just haven't been able to play it. Part of that's just I have things going on the weekends, and my game time on weekends tends to be Sunday nights, and by Sunday nights the Anthem beta has ended by 9 p.m. Eastern time each Sunday, so I haven't jumped in. I suppose I don't know what that means. If that means I'm not excited about it or what, but
I mean, that's one of the frustrating things about betas or open betas. There's only one weekend, and if it happens to be a weekend that you don't have time to play, then what are you gonna do? Like I had one of those I had a weird week last week, and I ended up having to work all weekend, so I had to go in Saturday and Sunday. So I definitely didn't have time. And then we had the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm not even a huge football player, but I figured I should at least watch one game a year, and I figured that was probably the one to watch.
Oh, that was an awful game to watch. Game.
It wasn't that
awfully
awful.
Boring game. It was a good defense.
Yeah, if you somewhat understand like the rules of football, or you can appreciate. Yeah, it was a defensive game. But yeah, I mean, it's always funner to just watch them run up the score.
Yeah, I like good defense, but there needs to be some sort of a mix between good offense and good defense. And the one thing about it, Julian Edelman was the MVP, and he went to Kent State, graduated from Kent State, which is my alma mater. So I always enjoy watching him do well.
Yeah.
But even though, I mean, it was a good offensive game or a good defensive game for both teams.
Yeah.
But the Patriots had not quite twice as many yards as the Rams, but the Patriots dominated that game.
For sure.
It wasn't the score was close, but it wasn't as close.
No, if you're watching, I mean, you were watching the Patriots majority of that game. They also, I'm sure, time of possession was a lot longer.
Yeah, it was. I actually just looked it up. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was 7 minutes difference. But early in the game, like the first quarter, the Pats had the ball for like
That's
12
true.
minutes.
Yeah, there was a little bit more life in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's about it. So, anyways.
Yeah. And this weekend, my middle daughter just turned 6, and so we had her birthday party, and for her birthday we did get the New Super Mario's Deluxe, and the 4 of us, it's my wife and I, and then we have 3 kids, but the one is just 2, so she's not playing yet. But you can play Super Mario Deluxe with 4 players. And you all you can jump on each other and you get in each other's way, so it makes it really hard to play actually. But we had fun. So I did play that game.
yeah, I don't want to talk Nintendo too much here,
No,
but
no.
I did get that game as well I kind of got it for my wife and me.
Yeah.
And because she's been playing the Nintendo Switch Online, the old NES games.
Okay. Yep.
So she'll be kind of interested in Mario again. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. And yeah, it's very much 2D Mario. And yeah, we tried 2 players, and we were struggling with that because yeah, it's just there's too much going on screen.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing 4 players. So
And you really, when you have multiple players, you have to coordinate between each other
Yeah,
when to move forward.
Yep.
And it's hard to do, especially when you get to speedy sections where you have to keep on moving or you'll get crushed or whatever.
Yep.
But it's fun. We had fun. So anyway, moving on to PlayStation games coming out. This week is a pretty light week on the drop, but there are a couple games. One game, Away Journey to the Unexpected, it's a first-person game, and it's a roguelite. Looks very anime-ish, and has roguelite elements, a colorful adventure combining action, negotiation, and roguelite elements. You befriend and play a large variety of quirky characters, all against the backdrop of the anime-themed soundtrack by Kazuhiko Naruse? I don't know. Anyway, I've been Away was... I think it was revealed pretty early on for the Switch, and it's out on PlayStation and Nintendo, and maybe Xbox. I don't know. But it looks kind of like a fun game. If I had nothing else to play or something, I might be interested. Other than that,
well, the only thing that popped out to me was God Eater 3.
Yeah.
I've heard the God Eater franchise. I think it used to be only on PS Vita. Maybe?
Yeah, it was like God Eater and God Eater Burst or something like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Monster Hunter-esque game. It's not like super high budget or anything like that, but if you enjoy, I think just killing things and getting loot, I think that's kind of what that game's all about. So
yeah. One other game, kind of on my radar, Monster Energy Supercross 2 comes out on Friday. This is the sequel to last year's Supercross game, which was very good. It's a very good looking game, and it has the track creator return, so you can create your own tracks or play other created tracks. And it's supposed to have a good career mode. And last year's game was very solid. I did in the recent sale. I forgot about this in my what I've been playing section. In the recent sale, I picked up MXGP Pro, it's by the same developer, Milestone, and it's the outdoor motocross official licensed game, whatever. So I have been playing that a little bit, and it's difficult. It's more the last year's Supercross game. I enjoyed it a lot, but the career mode ended up being very easy, very quickly. And this MXGP Pro is a lot more difficult for me. So that's been fun. I also have jumped back into Gran Turismo Sport a bit and have done some online game races on GT Sport for the first time in a while. It's been a number of months, but I want to get back into it and see if I can't win a race sometime this year. I've run a few races and I've finished in 5th, 6th, 7th place out of 8 to 10. Depends on the race. So I'm kind of in the middle. That's kind of where I've been all along. So I'm going to work on that as soon as I get done with Red. And on to this week's news. One of the disadvantages for PlayStation podcast here to releasing generally on Wednesdays is that the PlayStation Plus games for the next month are always announced on Wednesdays, right after we release our podcast. So a week ago, the PlayStation Plus games for February were announced. Do you want to go through some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, I'll go through all of them, I guess. Okay. The 2 big ones are Hitman, the first season. We're getting that on PS4, as well as For Honor also, which are the 2 big PS4 ones. And then we have Dive Kick on PS3, Metal Gear Solid 4 on PS3, Gunhouse on PS Vita, and Rogue Aces on PS Vita. But both of those are also cross-buy with PS4, which I can't remember how that works. So if you buy it, if you go to claim it on the PlayStation Store for Vita, it just automatically claims it for PS4. Is that how it works?
I'm not sure, but I think you can go. I think when you pull up the free games, it'll list both on the Vita and the PS4.
Oh, like separately, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You'll be able to do those, and I forget both of those. I think are 2D. I think Rogue Aces is a 2D side-scrolling flying game.
yeah, I just looking at the names, it's like I almost knew what they were. It's like
Yeah.
I know there's some sort of 2D beat 'em up or shooting game. So it's like both of them. They both appear to be that. Gunhouse is a 2D shooter. It looks really cool actually. Now that I'm like looking at it, it's like very stylish. Actually, no, Gunhouse might be some sort of like weird puzzle game.
Okay.
Like almost like a match 3 game. I think I've seen this before. Anyways, and then Rogue Aces looks like a Flash game. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But those are all available. I'm pretty excited about Hitman though.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get into that for a while. I played. Actually, I think I might. I might be lying. I think I might actually own Hitman. I played some of it, or maybe I just demoed it. I don't know. Either way, I want to get into Hitman, but the missions take a while to get through, and it's not the best game for like you or me when we play for 20, 30 minutes, maybe in a morning. So, because usually you need a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
And then I did play the beta of For Honor when that first came out. Almost at least a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half, something.
I remember playing the beta for that and thinking like, oh, this is cool, I guess. But I never really got into it. But like, since I always at least try the free games. So I'll definitely give it another shot and just see what's in there. I know they have a lot of microtransactions in that game. It's kind of supported the same way they supported Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. So I wonder if you get into For Honor and you're just gonna like see a bunch of the other characters that you can't play as because you need to buy them, So I know that's what it was with Siege.
Yeah. For Honor has been out for 2 years, released February 2017.
Wow.
So, and I've thought it's a fighting game where you can be samurai, Vikings, or knight.
Yeah.
And they may have added a fourth, so I don't know. It was interesting. I tried the beta also. It was interesting, but not generally my thing.
Yeah, we didn't get into it I suppose.
Hitman. I've played one Hitman game, previous PlayStation Plus game probably, and I enjoyed it. So I might jump into this. I generally feel like it's the best James Bond game out today. It's not a James Bond game, obviously a different character.
But you're sneaking around. It's also like the best Metal Gear game out right now. Like it's the best stealth game out right now.
Yeah.
It's really one of the only stealth games out that's doing it, that high of fidelity. So they're fun. It toes this weird line between being serious and being just goofy.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more goofy. That I think you kind of have to come at it from that angle. Like you can't go in expecting. Like there is a serious storyline, but just don't expect anything from it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's funner to go in and just play it as a goofy assassin. Because you can pick up most objects in the game, like a can or something like that, or coins. And if you throw a can at someone, you can use that as a weapon. You just knock them out automatically. It's like this dude has superhuman strength where he can just like whip cans or wrenches around and just instantly knock them out. So like you can't have that in the game and then still take yourself too seriously. So
yeah. Also, one of the PS3 games, Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. If you somehow still play PS3 and you've never played that game, I really enjoyed it. I don't know where it actually sits in the pantheon of Metal Gear Solid fans, but my history, quote unquote, with the series is I played the first game on the original PlayStation 1 and never beat it. I never played 2 or 3 or the Vita ones. And then when my 360 broke and I got a PS3, Metal Gear Solid 4 was, I think, the first game that I played on PS3. And I was blown away. I thought it was awesome. I did think at the end that when there's the hour-long sequence of cutscenes at the end, that they they started going a certain direction with Snake, and then they kind of backed off, and I thought they chickened out a little bit.
Okay.
With Snake's fate, I thought they could have just I thought they could have just ended it, and that would have been a great ending. The way that
Yeah.
I forget exactly how it ends, like crawling into a base or something. You think he not committing suicide, but he's fulfilling the mission, and in fulfilling the mission, he should die.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
He'll never
spoilers
die.
for that game, but
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know how it plays now. I don't know, 10 years after it came out, but
Yeah, so it's the only game I haven't really. It's the only game I haven't beat out of the Metal Gear series. Well, that's not true. I didn't play the portable games, but out of the main games on PlayStation main consoles, I have not. This is the only one I haven't completed. I did try it on PS Now.
Okay.
When I first got my PS4, and it was a little bit hard to just kind of jump into because it's got such a weird control scheme, which they all do. They all have. It's just different. And I wish there was a way to get I wish PS Now had an option where you could just buy games.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I wish when they were giving away PS3 games, I wish you could just claim them and then go play them on PS Now.
Yeah.
Like at some point it's almost all the same thing, and it would put them a lot more closer competition with the Game Pass.
Yeah.
If they were to do something like that, where you can claim old games that you used, either. I understand maybe not doing that, maybe not just letting people claim all of their old PS3 games, but maybe going forward doing something like that. So I don't know. I kind of wish there was an easier way to play this. And since they're giving it away, I would like to play it, but I don't have a PS3. So.
Right. All right. The other thing they announced for PlayStation Plus is that cloud storage is expanding to 100 gigabytes from the current 10 gigabytes for game saves. I'll be honest, I mean, my games get cloud saved automatically, but I never go in and manage it, and I always get notices that they can't cloud save. It must be because the 10 gigabyte limit. I must be up against that, but
yeah.
But I never go in and mess around with it. I did. I mean, the one time when I upgraded from the PlayStation 4 to PS4 Pro 2.5 years ago now, I did do some cloud saves for certain games that I wanted to make sure that I kept. But that's great for especially people who might have multiple consoles. It's cool. So other PlayStation news from this week, I thought this was pretty interesting on IGN, and I assume on other places. But PlayStation Network revenue hits record high in 2018, topped Nintendo and Xbox totals. So the PlayStation Network in 2018 generated more than $12.5 billion of revenue, and that is more than Microsoft's gaming division, which generated $11.5 billion, or all of Nintendo, period. This isn't not bringing this up to say, haha, Sony fanboy, whatever. I just think it's interesting. I mean,
no, it's very interesting. And well, you kind of wonder where the future of video games is going. It's like, this is obviously showing that people like digital stuff.
Yeah.
So it's if there's a little bar graph, and it's basically exponential growth. It's growing faster than it should. Like when you look at a normal bar graph or normal sales revenues, this is growing at a ridiculous speed. So I mean, I think it's just going to continue, I'd assume. I'm sure Microsoft and Nintendo probably have similar graphs. It's just they have such less.
Right.
They have such less game consoles. So if you have less game consoles, then you're not going to sell as much digitally on that game console.
Right. Yeah, and that's where it also notes that Sony has sold 91.6 million PlayStation 4s as of the end of 2018, versus I mean, we don't know how many Xboxes or Nintendo Switches. I forget if those are around 30 million now, maybe, which is, I mean, that's a really good number, but between the two of them, they're maybe combined 2/3 of what PlayStation 4 has on the market. So it makes sense. But I thought it was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah. I do wonder, do you think they count PlayStation 4 Pros in that number?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't even think a lot of times they don't break out PlayStation 4 Pro differently from PS4, so you don't really know how many PS4 Pros are out in the wild versus PS4.
I mean, I guess they are both PlayStation 4s. They're just different versions of it.
Yeah. Speaking of different versions of things, there was a chart that EA put out, I don't know, sometime last week called Ways to Play Anthem. And it's a spreadsheet where on the left side it shows standard pre-order, Legion of Dawn pre-order, which is their deluxe edition, EA Access, Origin Access, and Origin Access Premier. And then along the top it says, we had everybody could play the demo on February 1st. There's early access to the full game on February 15th for PC players that have Origin Access Premier. There's a 10-hour play first trial on February 15th for everyone with EA Access on Xbox One or Origin Access Basic on PC. And the full game launches on February 22nd for anybody who's either bought the game or has Origin Access Premier. And they got slammed pretty hard about this, and people saying, "Oh, I'm canceling my pre-order because this is too confusing," or something. Did you have any thoughts about that graphic or about the internet reaction to it?
I mean, it kind of sucks. I mean, look at the graphic, and it's like it looks like there's no way to like win. It's like it's not even like it's not like you can even buy the best option. Like it's not even like they're giving you like it used to be like here's your standard version, here's your pro version that's 100, and then here's the super spectacular deluxe version that comes with a toy or something like that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, we're releasing this on all these different services or plans or whatever, and some of them are good for this, some of them are good for that. Who knows which of them come with microtransaction money or whatever. I don't know, just kind of, it's weird. Like you shouldn't have to look at a graphic like this to figure out where to buy your game.
Right. Now, I also think they maybe unnecessarily put this out here and complicated it. I mean, the game launches on February 22nd, which is pretty easy to think, okay, I get a new game on February 22nd, unless I mean, the Origin Access Premier on PC, I don't know what the cost of that is. It might just be $100 a year, and you get basically all of the EA games for free at launch or a week before launch, which is a pretty good deal. And then, of course, EA Access. Eventually, Anthem will, of course, be on EA Access 6 months, 8 months later. Anyway, but I wasn't. There were people who were really bothered by this, which I thought was kind of silly. But I do think for the Legion of Dawn pre-order, which is their deluxe edition, I don't know how much more it costs. I think $20 more. Presumably, if you're buying that, you are the most interested fans of Anthem and the most into the game, and yet you still can't play it until everyone else. And so I just pre-ordered the base game on PS4.
Yep.
So whatever, I'm fine with getting it on February 22nd. But if you are the biggest of the big fans of the game, and now there's no way for you to play it until 2/3 of the other people have already played it, it kind of stinks. But it's not like there's not, there are ways that you can go out and play it. If you really wanted to play it that badly a week early, if I wanted to that badly, I could go out and get an Xbox One and get EA Access.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like this has been happening for a while.
Oh yeah,
especially with EA Access. So it's not. I think this would be a bigger deal if it did include like this version comes with $10 worth of coins.
Yeah.
This version comes with $20 worth of coins. Then that'd be a little bit more weird, but at the end of the day, it's just, who cares? Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit frustrating, but
the bigger thing, and it's still maybe not the only thing that has, I don't know, upset me about PlayStation during the PS4 era, is that Sony decided not to join in on EA Access when they had the chance. I think it's a heck of a deal, and one of Xbox's top selling points for me as I enjoy sports games, and I end up playing most of EA's games at some point anyway. And if I could just pay $30 a year to play them all for free, absolutely. Or not for free, if I paid $30 a year to play them all, I would absolutely do that, and I don't need any of them brand new.
I mean, it's a really good deal for sure.
Yeah, it's a heck of a deal. So that's where I'm more, this is still sort of a sore spot for me with Sony, and something I'm going to keep an eye on when PS5 and Xbox 2 come out, whether EA Access is available. So That is it for the news for the past week or so. We did want to jump into the Dreams beta. So Dreams was had an open beta. They kept it going for a month. They had, and for about 3 weeks prior, they had a closed beta with some of the biggest, I suppose, biggest media molecule supporters or creators or whatever. So it was just about 2 months of Dreams beta action, and I think it was a pretty good month. I mean, I think that people getting the opportunity to play it, to create things, and to play other people's creations was really a positive thing for Dreams. I guess what was your experience during the beta? Did you play things? Did you try creating anything? Did you do a little both? How did you experience the beta?
So pretty much completely I just played people's dreams.
Okay.
Like I didn't do a lot of creation stuff. I did the tutorial, which I think you have to, and then I didn't really go anywhere past that.
You
I
just
never
did like the first tutorial.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I just didn't have a ton of time to jump into the beta, and I was really frustrated with the controls. It seemed like it was really hard for me, even just setting up my home space or trying to play around in my home space, which is kind of just you can place a few tags here or there and grow them or make them bigger, and just controlling with the six axis controller was a little bit hard to me.
Yeah.
It's not precise. It's not like you can just. I don't know how to describe it, but I think it'd be much easier with the move controllers. And from what I've heard, like you can like sculpt characters and everything within this game, within the creator tools. And like from what I've heard, that it is way easier with move controllers. But I just played Dreams, like other people's creations, and I still had a blast. Like I'm still very excited. I wouldn't say I had a blast. I mean, it was fun and it was very interesting, but I'm just still very excited for the game because you can see the breadcrumbs basically of what's going to be there.
Yeah. I'm similar to you. I got into it pretty early on when the public beta, as soon as I got the code, it took me, I guess I got into it on week 2, but I never created anything of my own, but I did go through. I mean, they have that initial creation tutorial, and then they have a lot of other tutorials about how to create a basic game, how to animate objects, painting. They have a music one that I actually didn't get to. So I did a lot of the tutorials, but I never actually did anything of my own. And similar to you, controlling with the 6-axis is very imprecise, which makes it hard to create something. And I'm not going into this thinking that I'm going to be a creator of Dreams content anyway, but I do think for anyone out there who is interested in it, the move controllers are probably going to be necessary if you really want to create something.
Yeah.
But then I did play a lot of the other people's creations, and the things that people are able to do in a 1 week time span, like they would do the creator jams.
Yep.
Where they have a week and there's a theme. Like one of them was space, one of them was robots. So some of a lot. It was still just proof of concept stuff, but it was like the first level of what could be a really interesting game.
Yeah.
Which is, and there's a lot of, even now you can go to indreams.me, and I guess I don't know if you weren't a part of the beta, if you could do this or not, but on indreams.me, you can explore all of the dreams that have been created and at least see kind of a screenshot of what was created. You can also go Media Molecule hosted weekly live streams that are up on their YouTube account where they go through a bunch of really neat games or levels. There's one here. It looks like it's just a painting of the Lorax that looks, like the Lorax. Looks pretty good. I did. Speaking of the painting, there's a painting tutorial, and you learn how to use the different brush strokes and whatnot. And so I did a painting. It was of a Christmas tree, of an actual painting that I've done, and tried to recreate that in Dreams, which I was able to do. Except when you're in Dreams, you're creating on a 3D, I don't know,
Plane,
3D plane, axis, whatever. Everything you're creating in a 3D space.
Yep.
So when I was painting a 2D painting of a Christmas tree.
Yep.
But then when you swivel the camera around, all of the different layers they're not all connected. They're separated.
Okay.
But as I was doing it originally, I couldn't tell that because I was looking at it from the front.
Yep.
That's where some of that imprecise control of where you're placing things in the game world comes in. So it'll be
a learning process.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I kind of, when you say that, like you're right. It's like it'll be hard in the beginning, but like this is almost a game engine.
Oh yeah.
And game devs take years and years to master game engines.
Yep.
And I don't think it's going to take that long for people to get really, really good within this thing.
Yeah.
And just overall, yeah, like I'm glad you played with some of the, because I would be curious. I'm definitely going to jump into the creating tools eventually. I mean, there's a reason like I played Minecraft because I liked building things.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was building, or I wasn't playing the story or anything like that. It's just I just wanted to make things. They didn't look great, and I'm sure whatever I make in Dreams won't look great, but I was just most blown away by what you can create in this game.
Yeah.
Like the variety in the different Dreams was just crazy. I mean, I think the most impressive one to me was probably, there was like a RPG. It was very similar to, it was clearly going after like Elder Scrolls. I think it was called something Scrolls.
Okay.
And basically it dropped you into like a tavern, and it was, everything looked pretty bad. I'll say that. Like everything looked like it was like the really bad models in Dreams. You know, the people don't look real or anything like that. It's very cartoonish. And even that, everything just looks a little bit silly. But you could go up to the barkeep and talk to him, and you had dialogue options, and you could go up and pick items up, and basically I had to poison this assassin that was within the bar, and then I had to leave the bar and go out into like an open world, and there was a whole like little town. It wasn't completely populated, but I'm very confident that like with more than a week, this could be a very as populated as something in Elder Scrolls,
right?
Or Skyrim. And then I left there and did a whole mission where I slayed a dragon, and there was more mission structures after that, and that was, it's like almost like the menus and like being able to create dialogue options. That was what really blew me away. It was like there's a lot of logic in the game.
Yeah, that's what, one of the early tutorials is all about programming logic, and if you step on this platform, this other platform moves, and menu items pop up or whatever. But that is one thing. As someone, I'm very interested in the game, or the engine or whatever. But at launch, for players like us who aren't going to create as much, but just want to hopefully find some interesting creators and play what they've created, how long will it take before there's anything beyond proof of concept?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, it takes a long time to create games. Even small games. That the game that comes out this week, Away Journey to the West. I don't know anything about the creation of that game, but it's been announced. The first trailer dropped more than 2 years ago, and at that point it looked good. Maybe that was just a vertical slice or whatever, but it's been more than 2 years in development, and probably even more beyond that. But since it's been announced, more than 2 years, and these games. Yeah. So this is, this Dreams is something that hopefully is supported into the PlayStation 5, and it is really, really is a neat thing, and could be very a groundbreaking experience. And I don't know, I'm still positive about it, but I
Concerned?
also don't want to. Yeah, a little. I don't want to get into something where I'm just playing. I like bite-sized games. I like smaller games, but where I'm just clicking around and doing different things just because they're there, and it's just a worse version of Elder Scrolls.
Oh yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, you're completely right about that. I mean,
um,
it's only fun to look at proof of concepts once or twice.
yeah,
It's like it is very as a longtime video game fan, I'm very interested in the whole process of making a game and stuff like that. So it is fun for me in the very beginning. Like I was very excited to see like the building blocks of a game,
yep,
but like that was fun once or twice. There was a reason why I still spent a lot of time in the last week playing Call of Duty,
yep,
because like I only needed to look at that stuff once, and then yeah, part of me does want to just wait 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and see where it goes. So you're not wrong. Like they need to support this game for quite a while, and then it's like the analytical part of me is like, well, how are they going to support the studio for that much longer?
yep.
They've been already. And then there's just so many questions, and we don't know how much this game is going to cost, or the one thing they didn't show off in the beta is I do know there's a single player like narrative.
Yeah, something
Uh,
created by Media Molecule.
yeah, probably be around 10 hours or so nothing crazy, but something to maybe show off some of the tool sets, but really just kind of take you through their self-created dreams.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that's worth, is that going to be $60? How are they going to price out all the tools? There's a lot of questions about this game still. And I just don't see the money side of things. Like they don't, and unless they maybe release this on PC, then I could also see it becoming something even bigger. But I just don't think that'll ever happen.
yeah.
Um,
I have thought that it would be neat for the creation side if you buy the game and so you have it connected to your PSN account. If there was a web-based way to get in and create game, but I don't know if that's even on the horizon or a possibility or
Yeah, it seems like if anything, if Sony is like we can't fund this anymore or whatever, that seems like an easy way to gain a bunch of cash. Is like, all right, well, let's port it to PC and release it because it's a game engine and people usually use game engines on PCs. So
yeah.
so and then who knows what you could create with it, and then is there a marketplace for just Dreams games or something like that? I was listening to another podcast and someone had brought up the idea of like, what if Sony could let you buy Dreams games? Like, what if you were able to create a game within Dreams and then you were able to export that game to the PlayStation Store?
Okay.
And then just when you buy the game, you're buying the Dreams engine that's playing that particular game or something,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That would be kind of a cool idea, but who knows? It's like we all have. Everyone's got these ideas how to make this thing work, but they must have some sort of plan. So
Yeah.
we will see. I still think I'll buy it as soon as it comes out, just to play through that narrative thing, and then maybe to play around with the creation tool sets when I have the time here and there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I was also kind of hoping, and maybe they still will pretty soon, that this beta would end with an announcement of a release date or release structure or something. Hopefully, I mean, it seemed like the tutorials are they're very well thought out, and the game is, I mean, it seems pretty well, it seems pretty well complete, and I didn't have any bugs or crashing or anything like that. I didn't experience any, others might have.
Yeah, something I experienced was within people's individual dreams. So then it's a weird thing. Is like, well, is the Dreams engine crashing or bugging out, or is it just the creator's bad logic, or it's like you're programming it within programming. So who do you place the blame on? But even those weren't bad. There wasn't, it was just, and they're a proof of concept. So I'm pretty sure that's just what it was.
Right. Yeah, sometimes where you go through a door or something and then there just would be nothing there and just like a blank slate
exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I ran into that a couple times.
Did you have a favorite dream that you found so far?
So I enjoyed one of the early ones that they showcased on the Dream streams was called the Off-Road Lands, and you got in this Jeep and just kind of drove around. I really enjoyed that, and it ended in kind of a graveyard of Jeeps. Like you're driving on this journey, and you eventually get to your destination, and it really is just, oh, that's where all the Jeeps go to end. So that was an interesting one. There was also, I'm bad at thinking of names. There was Planetoid Pandemonium. Okay, I found that one. Planetoid Pandemonium, which is like the twin stick shooter from Housemarque, where you go around the planet. What are those games called? Hyper Super
Drifter? No. I was thinking of Resogun, but I know what you're talking about.
not Resogun, but the predecessor to Resogun. Yeah. Stardust, Super Stardust
HD.
Yeah. So that game, Planetoid Pandemonium, was a little bit like that, but again, not. I mean, honestly, if you want to play a twin stick shooter where you're going around a planet like that, just play Super Stardust.
Yeah.
At this point, there was also a rhythm game that was like a Guitar Hero. Looked like Guitar Hero, but you just played on your controller. That was pretty good. And there were some of the space games. There was a space game where you're in a space station, and you're going and you're trying to find the escape the space station because you're losing oxygen or something. And it was just like a chapter 1 to what will probably be a larger story. That I thought was, but there weren't any. There were a lot of things that I thought were interesting, but nothing that was like, oh, I want to. I guess the space, whatever the space station was.
Yeah. Like maybe what that will be in a year,
right?
When it's polished, when the story is written out. I mean, you might have fun jumping it. Like, there's a reason we don't play games super. Like, we want to play the polished, finished product usually. But this is kind of allowing us to not do that or to jump in it early.
Right.
It would be cool to play. It will be cool to play games that have been worked on for several years. And I think as long as the creator allows it, you can go back and play earlier versions.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if you like tabbed around, you can see older. You can see the first versions of creations, so you can kind of see the progress. So I don't know how far back that'll go or how often it'll save, or but yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be kind of cool to play a very polished product and then go back and be like, all right, well let's see what they had at like 3 months,
Right.
So.
Cool. Well, I guess we will pretty good for this show, and we'll kind of end it here. We are both looking forward, obviously, here to seeing what Dreams become. And it'll be. I'm still hoping that it comes out this year. PlayStation has to have some games that come out after Days Gone come. So with that. I guess we are going to sign off. You can find us, as always, on PlayStation. You can find us on PlayStation. My screen name is Seth is the Goat, and Justin is Closet _gamer. We are also on Twitter at PSXP Podcast, and you can find out about the entire Play Some Video Games network by visiting patreon.com/PSVG. And that has given me enough time to get over to our producers list here that I was trying to track this down. I forgot to bring it up earlier. Thank you to all of our Patreon contributors, and especially these producers: Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Dev Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris M., Kyle Hyman, Joel Voss, and Josh Borboni Bonesaw. You have anything to add as we close, Justin?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, great. Have a great week. Hope everybody is out there playing a lot of fun games, enjoying your time with Kingdom Hearts, and over these next couple weeks, we have a little bit, a really tiny lull before the big games start to drop. So anyway, have a great week. Never stop gaming.
And though we may pledge fanboy allegiances to different flags, deep down inside we all serve one master, one king. And his name is gaming. Forever may he reign!
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network.